as is the case twice a year here at the Reno Peppermill, Run It Up Reno is going on in the poker room and upstairs in the Capri Ballroom where the tournament series is held. It's become known as the summer camp of poker, where so many of the best players in the game come to play here in Reno. They come to play on my home turf. Yes, home game for me, road game for them. Let's go check it out, see who we run into this time. I thought we'd get Jason on the vlog, but I don't think this is going to qualify. All right, we are joined by a man who is an expert at introducing other people to podcasts.
Yes, sir.
You probably already know him, Chicago Joe Ingram. What's up, Poppy?
What's up, brother? Nice to be here, man, with Peppermill right now. It's a great place to be.
Have you been here before?
The first time ever.
First time here at Pep?
Yeah, first time, man.
And how are the PLO games? Because I know that's your specialty.
We got one going yesterday. The night before there wasn't one. It's still early and I feel like, so we'll see exactly what takes place. But I mean, the low stakes games are always pretty good no matter where you go. So if the game's tight, you just play more hands. If it's a crazy game, you tighten up a little bit. And I mean, most games I play, usually I think they're always really good. So
are you playing any tournaments or sticking to cash?
I played 2 tournaments yesterday, and I fucking hate tournaments. So, I mean, listen, dude, maybe I picked the wrong ones, though, because you have like 10 big blinds for 2 hours. Maybe the people at home love this kind of stuff, like 10 big blind fold, but let me tell you, there's a game where you can play 3 streets, and that's called the Great Game of Pop'em in Omaha. I'm wearing the shirt, the Great Game of Pop'em in Omaha right now here, and I understand at Hold'em sometimes that happens too in cash game, but in PLO, it often goes 3 streets. It's just so much fun. Imagine a game where you can play the pre-flop and flop multiple times. It's called Pop'em in Omaha. So I mean, 10 big blind, I understand why people like it. It's easy. You don't have to think. You just like,
certain
ace jack.
Card you shove.
Exactly, yeah. So it's yeah.
I'm with you. I hate tournaments too, which is why I don't play them.
Makes sense. Why you're grinding the cash game right now.
That's why I'm playing the 2-card PLO.
2-card PLO.
As you call it. Yes, exactly. So your podcast has been blowing up. It's been fantastic.
Thank you.
I love listening to it.
Thank you.
I know you got some big stuff coming for us in the future. I was reading some tweets. Mm-hmm. What can you tell us? What's coming down the road in the Poker Life podcast?
I've been killing it, bro. I just got back. I just started doing it last week. We already had, I feel like the last 5 episodes been great. Today we had Doug Polk on. It's my guy. He's always super entertaining.
So good when
he's firing shots. Boom, boom, boom. He's spraying around today, man. He was nuts. So we had him on. We had Nick Bertucciani. He's a high stakes guy, recreational player, but a successful businessman yesterday. So you get in this business knowledge, life knowledge. Like, this is just stuff that I think poker players that want to be successful really enjoy. Garrett Adelstein last week is just like a fucking, that dude's amazing, man. And you get to hear from some of these guys I feel like for me as a poker player, I aspire to be one of the high stakes guys, successful at business, successful at life, successful at what I do. So getting to talk and hear from these people for me is just, I think it's awesome just from my standpoint, but then the audience, it seems like they really enjoy it too. And coming up, we got #1 ranked tournament player in the entire world, Alex Foxen, coming on next week. Next Monday. I don't know anything about him, so I'm super excited to talk to that kid. And we got the ACR CEO, Phil Nagy, who I've called out many times for the bots and cheating and colluding and all the online activity on his site called America's Card Room. Me and him are sitting down. They're finally taking a stance against bots, against cheating, against the online activity. So we're going to have a podcast together too. And then my guy Lex Feldhaus, Razzie, he'll be up here very soon. Mr. Vibes, Johnny Vibes, probably have him back on.
Yes.
He's been getting a little controversial.
Love Johnny.
Yeah, I like Johnny too. So he'll be on. Bob Marley back on. It's like sky's the limit, man. It's whoever you want to have on. For me at this point, within reason, I feel like I can try to have on and maybe go for some bigger names.
Yeah.
Phil Brunson, Isildur One, Patrick Antonius, Phil Ivey, and Tom Dwan. I can't do those. They're out of reach.
I feel like Dwan you could do. Ivy, yeah, but I feel like Dwan, you could find a way to do. I mean, Bart Hansen got him back in the day. I feel like it's
I
doable.
loved it. That's like one of my favorite old school podcasts
Yes,
on Cash
me too.
Plays when Bart, because Bart used to have Lyman on a lot, and he just randomly has Tom Dwan. I'm like, yo, Tom fucking Dwan's in the house, man. But
That's the other guy you gotta have Lyman back on. I love Lyman. You gotta get him
he's
back.
Like very controversial with what happened with his life at the bike. So, but I like him. I had him on before. I always enjoy talking with him. He's kind of crazy like me too, and he loves Pop Omaha as well. So
yes, he does.
Actually, wouldn't be a bad idea to have him on too. But Live at the Bike, they got a lot of beef, and Live at the Bike are my guys, Feldman and them. So it's. Yeah.
So people that have never listened to the Poker Life podcast,
which is probably a decent amount of people because they're so fucking long. So I understand the reservation to be like, oh well, I'm gonna watch a vlog that you might put up, or someone like an Andrew or Brad, compared to a 2 to 3 hour podcast with someone that I vaguely know about because I don't follow poker as deep as some people think.
Well, I love when you put them on iTunes, and I can listen to them in 1.25x speed, and so I get through a lot of them when I do that.
Happy to hear that.
But for those who have never heard it, give me like a couple of the best ones that you've done, a couple of your favorite episodes, favorite guests that you've had.
I think if you come in listening to something like a Doug Polk episode, you're going to really just laugh, enjoy it. You're going to find that fun. In terms of wisdom and like, holy shit, this is life-changing. Bill Perkins. I think Bill Perkins' first one I did with him is just, I mean, monumental in terms of the things he told me and the impact on my own life. So for something like that with Bill Perkins, in terms of poker-related stuff, I mean, there's a lot like the Ben Tollerines and Ben Salsky, who are two of the top online poker players pretty much of all time. You have those guys are pretty classic episodes. Lex Feldhaus as well. People get a lot of good feedback from that too.
And the one that I have to point out that I loved was with Barry Greenstein.
Oh my God, this
So
is what I'm
good.
saying. It's crazy.
Yes.
There's two with him there. Those are legendary because he's grinding poker still every single day. And the things he says are just fucking amazing, man. I mean, my God, the guy can talk, okay?
I love the old school stories.
I know, I
so
love
good.
That's why I want to get more old school guys
Yes,
on, man.
old school guys.
But the thing is, I don't know them.
Right.
And I don't like, Ben hit me up on Instagram and said, yo, you want to record something? I was like, let's do it. I don't really do things like that very often. I was thinking about it when you messaged me. I was like, man, I never do that. But I always say, if people ever ask me that, I'm always like, let's do it. Yeah, like I love being, because like I understand the reservation some people have about reaching out to other people to do things. And I know how much of an asshole some people are when it comes to you asking, like, oh, well, let's do it this time. Like, yeah,
they make it seem like they're doing you a huge favor.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They make it's like this big fucking thing. And it's like, no, we're back here in Peppermint right now. You put the camera down, we're recording it. So for me, like, I just understand how people feel that are in the position of making content. So I mean, if I'm here, I'm not doing anything. Like, let me be a part of it. I think it's like a lot of fun. You know, that's what I'd want to be. I'd want other people to do that for me when I'm trying to do this kind of thing like that. So I try to treat people that same way.
Was there a moment for you when you felt that the podcast really kind of took the next step, like became something that only a few listened to, and now it's like one of the go-to podcasts of record in the poker world?
Yeah, it's kind of weird because like when I first started, I had an audience from online poker because I did well at online and I had a presence online with my prop bets and playing high stakes. So people followed it. But then what happened, I think, I don't really know. It's a good question. I don't know if there's a turning point because a lot of the podcasts I did early actually got a lot of views too in the first year or two because I had just the biggest names of online poker on it. And then in terms of maybe when it hit more of a relevancy in mainstream and not online, it's probably when I started having on some of the tournament players. Like I did this one with this girl named Dr. Jacqueline Moscow,
yes,
who had
I remember that.
She had accused the Poker Night America, someone related to them, of sexually harassing her and motorboating her or something of that nature. And that was a very serious tone and episode for me at the time. And I think something like that was a turning point in terms of who I was as a content creator and who I was in terms of the poker world. Now it's like, all right, this guy's going to cover some serious shit that some other people aren't going to cover, or he's able to cover it in a good way. So I think that was probably a big turning point, like, all right, this is like, and then I had Nick Rano on when the whole rake discussion happened, and the more rake is better, kind of things like that. So I feel like those were kind of some turning points. And then, you know, in terms of success, it's all about consistency, and I don't think I've been as consistent in the first few years as I was in the last few years. So it's going to struggle in terms of just views.
Are you retired from prop betting? Is that a thing?
I don't know, man. I just don't have. I don't think I have it anymore to like want to do a lot of the things that because like I'd want to do something challenging, and I just like
swim with the sharks or swim a mile in open ocean.
I'm so happy that didn't happen.
You didn't do that?
I'm so happy that the hurricane came and wiped the water out.
Is that what happened?
I'm so happy that didn't happen. I think I would have died.
No, you would have won that bet.
I would have won the
A
bet,
mile
but
in
I
open
might
ocean?
have got eaten by a shark.
Well, then I guess you wouldn't have won the bet.
In
but-
St. Thomas, yeah, I might have got eaten by the shark here, so.
What's the most, which prop bet that you've completed is the most impressive in your mind?
600,000 hands in 1 month. At Texas Hold'em full ring back
Is that
in the
before 2011?
day. That was before. That was 2008. 2008, I did that one. 2009, 50,000 hands in a day, and profit too, which crushed that. And then Supernova Elite, 2.5 months. I did that.
Wow.
Played the most PLO hands ever in a day, ever in a month. At that time too, 400 some thousand hands of PLO in a month. What was it, about 35, 40,000 hands in a day of PLO. So those were like my crazy, like, yeah. So now I set the bar high for myself, right?
Yes.
So now like when I do these prop bets, it's like, you know, like learning Mandarin, that's cool, but like, I don't really give a fuck for the most part about that.
That'd be tough.
Yeah, so
I'd
it's
much
like,
rather swim a mile in the ocean than try to learn Mandarin, I can tell you that.
well, once I started studying, I was like, I'm not gonna win this bet, so.
So how you liking living in Vegas? Because you're Chicago Joey,
Yeah.
but now you're living in Vegas. How is it down there?
Yeah, I mean, I've lived all over the world at this point in time, and how does it compare to other places? I think I like Vegas probably the least of where I've lived. I think I like Vancouver the most, San Diego the most. Australia, I ruined my life there, so I actually don't like Australia too. But Vegas is great in that it's a central location for poker community.
Right.
So a lot of people come to town.
And that's why you went there.
Right.
Yeah.
That's why I was just like, everyone's here. The companies are there. Poker Central's there. Doug's there. A lot of my good friends are there. People that are my good friends come to town. My family comes to town. Friends come to town. And there's just so much more to do. It has its downsides because it's distracting. Because there's so much to do, as I said, that is also takes away from your main goal or priorities or whatever you set. And that happens to me very often. So I'm like, okay, I'm dedicated 1 week, and then this next 2 weeks I go out a lot, or I'm getting out of line, do whatever kind of thing like that. So from that standpoint, it's cool. But I don't know how much longer I'll live there. Maybe a year or two, and then probably move to LA or New York City.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, all over the country.
We'll see.
Well, good stuff. If you haven't checked it out, it's the Poker Life podcast. Chicago Joe Ingram.
I need to post some short
Very
clips.
much
I need to
looking
like
forward
give
to
them a call to action, like a shorter clip, because like if you hop into 3 it's like a daunting task. It's like fucking 3 hours. Oh shit. So maybe watch a little bit of one, and then see what you think. You know, maybe watch the Doug one I just put out. That one's pretty funny.
Doug is just so good. Every time you've had him on, I love those episodes.
What's up, guys? Doug Polk here.
What's up, guys? Doug Polk here.
You know, he's a legend, man. He's one of the sickest dudes of all time. So
He's putting up a billboard outside the Rio saying more rake is better.
Yes. Yes.
Was that like the ultimate troll, by the way?
Yes.
Was that like the greatest troll ever?
a meme come to life. Anytime a meme can come to life, as my buddy Thomas Seriously Serious puts it, it's amazing. So yeah, they definitely had a part of that, and epic moment in poker history.
There was. Thanks for coming on, Joe. Best of luck with the podcast going forward.
Brother, much love, man.
There's some interesting hands that have been going on here throughout the first couple hours of play. Started off on fire here at Up Reno. First hand, we get a raise to 20 under the gun. Cutoff makes it 95. Very aggressive player. I'm in the big blind with pocket tens, and I make the call. Under the gun calls as well. So we're 3 ways to a flop with $285 in the pot, and the flop comes out highly above average for me. 10-8 deuce rainbow. I check, under the gun checks, and the pre-flop 3-better ships all in for about 400. He's definitely capable of raising pre-flop with a lot more hands than what he ended up having, but in this case I had to get lucky on the flop. Obviously I snap call. Under the gun actually thinks about it for a minute before folding, and I end up being up against pocket aces. Board runs out clean, and I get all of his chips to get off to a fantastic start at Up Reno Volume 8. I raise to 20 in early position with King Queen of Diamonds. I get a call in the big blind, and the flop comes out Jack of Diamonds, 7 of Hearts, Deuce of Spades. He checks, and I bluff $25. He makes the call. The turn comes the single best card in the deck for me, I feel anyway, in terms of picking up equity, the 10 of Diamonds. So I now have an open-ended straight flush draw with a gut shot to what would be my first ever royal flush in 10 years of live poker. He checks, I bet 50, and he check raises me to 125. This is a local pro who I know well, play with a lot. He's not going to be making a random play here, I don't think. So I don't think semi-bluffing on a re-raise would be the best play. I just call. In the river comes the queen of clubs. So I make top pair, but don't hit my draw. He checks, I check it back, and he wins with jack 10 offsuit. My streak is alive. It's now at, I believe, 6, possibly 7 straight times I've had a royal flush draw. Not only have I missed the draw, but I've lost the hand. That's a tough streak to get that long, but somehow I pulled it off. Next hand was pretty cool. I make it 45 with pocket kings. Folds back around to him, and he makes the call. Heads up to a flop of 10-6-6. I bet 50, and he check raises me to 120, with only about 130 behind. Pretty easy decision here. I put them all in, expecting to be up against jacks or queens the vast majority of the time. Instead, I'm up against ace 10, as he snap calls my raise. Board runs out clean, and I take that one down. There's a raise in the low jack to 15. The button calls, and I have pocket queens in the big blind. I make it 40, and in light of my recent winning image, both players fold. That definitely would not happen if I'd been losing on the day. The more pots you win, the more people are afraid of you, the less action they give you. We saw that again shortly after. I opened 2 red aces to $15 in a full game, and I get 7 folds. That's how good my image was. Later on, the game got much more interesting, and it definitely came as kind of a cool moment when first popular vlogger Brad Owen sat down in the game. Talked to him for a while. He was really cool. But a couple hours later, it was not 1 but 2 vloggers in the game as Andrew Nemi sat down right next to Brad. So despite the fact there were 3 3-5 games going here at the Peppermill, both those guys ended up being in the same game as me. And I got to talk to them and had a lot of fun doing it. So we've had Andrew on this vlog before. Brad has said he will be on this vlog coming up later on. So that'll be cool as well. Didn't actually make for a great game. I only got in 1 hand really against Andrew. I think I got in 2 hands against Andrew. One time I beat him with, I had pocket 9s, he had king 10. He semi-bluffed the flop and missed everything, and I won with pocket 9s. And then I raised with pocket kings, he called me. Flop came ace high. I c-bet, he called. Checked the turn, checked the river, and he won with ace 6 of clubs. Ended up going 1 for 2 against Andrew and didn't really play any hands against Brad. By the way, also shout outs to a couple of guys that we've seen here recently. Ryan from Phoenix in town, also a Tesla driver, appreciate that. And Sean from Denver made the trip. How about this? We also saw Lee Jones here at Up Reno. If you listen to the old Poker Stars 2+2 Poker podcast, it used to be with Mike Johnson and Adam Schwartz, then it was Adam Schwartz and Terrence Chan. Now it's the Dat Poker podcast. But before, when they were sponsored by Poker Stars, they had Lee Jones on there every single show talking about what Poker Stars was doing. And Lee showed up here to the Peppermill and said he liked the vlog. So I thought that was pretty cool. Also a guy named Rajat, I believe it was. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Thanks for watching. And one more guy who recently made an appearance here and said he liked the vlog. He actually moved here to work at the Tesla Gigafactory. Fortunately, his name is escaping me, and I apologize for that, but he knows who he is, and he's been here as well. So a lot of vlog viewers making an appearance here, coming up and talking to me at table 1 at the poker room, which is always cool to see.
I don't believe that it's